Hey you guys, this is Jerry Mateo with In the DAW, and today I want to show you guys how you can use saturation and bass amp emulations to actually transform a DI'd finger-picked guitar into something that really cuts through the mix, and all I need is two plugins for this. So we're going to start off by playing the bass for you. So as you can hear that is the bass guitar we have. I'll just solo this out and we will bypass all of the plugins and we'll see what it actually sounds like in real life. So as you can hear from that, it's a DI, obviously, but one thing is it's a DI with fingers picking instead of an actual pick, and that's why you get that rounded sound where it kind of sounds like it almost rolls off. Let me show you what it sounds like with these two plugins on here. In the mix, listen to it. I mean, you can hear it a little bit, but it sounds more like the amp itself is getting a little bit raunchy, and what that's doing is that's actually making it cut through the mix. So watch, if I bypass it and play it now. You can hear how it kind of like cuts out. You can even hear his finger playing isn't as strong when he's hitting multiple notes in succession at once. So we're actually losing it. And the volume's staying relatively the same. We are losing a little bit of dynamic range, so we're gaining a tiny bit of volume. But a lot of that too is because we're having some distortion. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys how we can create this. We'll reset all of these to default, and we'll just see how it sounds like without anything. Right around there is a part where it's really cutting out. So we'll solo this out. So what I like to do is I like to use this SDRR from Klanghelm. This is pretty much one of my favorite plugins, and I always set it to out-in. You can also calibrate this to -24 VU, but we don't need to do that right now. What we're going to do, though, is I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it better. And I like stage 3 saturation for this, but we're going to start off at 1, and we're going to just drive this till I can hear it. So we turn it on, and here we go. I can hear it right around there. It's really, really crazy after about 3. Let's try stage 2. Now, stage 3 is actually 3 individual stages of tube saturation. And that's why it's a little more prominent, a little more fuzzy, but that's actually what I want. And if you click here, it actually soft bypasses. So next what I'm going to do is we're going to mess with the character, harmonic balance, and frequency response. It's making it sound a little thin, warm. We'll stick to even because even sounds a little bit more natural. And then we're going to actually change the frequency response itself of the actual outcoming saturation to be a little low and heavy. And then we bring down the output. One thing you'll notice is that we are actually reducing the dynamic range because if you saturate something or if you add distortion, you're basically saturating or soft clipping it in a very musical way or in a way that a tube does it. And what that does is that actually adds natural compression while adding distortion. That's actually why you get those extra harmonics, because if you have a limiter or a compressor set to 0 and 0 and you're just hard limiting, you'll see you actually gain saturation and gain harmonics and distortion. So saturation is basically a more extreme version of compression, but it's more natural because it's so fat. You just hear the harmonics. So let's see what this sounds like again. Cool. That's good enough for now. It's about the same volume, maybe a little bit more RMS. Next, we're going to turn on this bass dude from Brainworks. Now, this thing is really hot, so we're going to use the power soak to actually reduce the gain of it. So let's see what it sounds like. Bypass everything. So that sounds a little bit too heavily driven, right? But let's see what it sounds like in the actual context of the song. We'll start at bypass. Now we'll turn it on. Adjust the gain. Bypass it. Put it back on. Okay, I'm gonna set this to -8 because I know -8 is usually just about right. Let's turn it off one more time. Cool. So it's as easy as that with just two plugins, one of them just being an amp sim and the other one just being a tube saturator with lots of flexible controls. We've actually managed to make the bass cut through while still sounding relatively natural. I mean, maybe if you're really, really paying attention, you can hear a little bit of a overdrive on the top end. But one thing is, in smaller speakers, it's going to cut through. When you're doing any type of mixing down and you need to maybe cut a little bit of the low end for the kick drum to cut through, it's going to be able to cut through without actually disappearing. And we've actually reduced the dynamics so we can turn it down a little bit on the fader, and we're actually saving headroom for our entire mix. And that is the one thing that saturation really does, is it adds harmonics, meaning that it stands out more, it cuts more, and we actually can reduce the output because we can hear it easier without actually having to have it so high up. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys like this, and please like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments. This has been Jerry Mateo with In the DAW, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.